We got Miami Hurricanes talk, myself with the wholesome one from the U family. Talking Canes football, wholesome one.
Yeah, man. We're gonna
Lead it
go ahead
off.
and talk some Miami Hurricanes offense. We're gonna talk some Miami Hurricanes recruitment, and kind of looking forward after this week. We got a chance to see somewhat of a final project, finished product, second half of the Bethune-Cookman game, and we're just gonna kind of talk about how we view the team first three games moving forward, and we will also later on, second half of the show, have some phone calls. You can call into my number, and we'll allow some people to call in and have some questions. But we're going to try to keep it under an hour, maybe an hour 15, so that tomorrow we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be on my channel. We'll talk Miami Hurricanes defense and do phone calls over there. You know, I'm a
Absolutely.
night crawler, so I could be up all night. It don't bother me. I got to be to bed and stuff. So,
The
but
grandpa.
Paul, go ahead. How do you think? Looking at the Miami Hurricanes team right now, what are some of the things that you're happy uh, to see, and what are some of the things you want to see differently?
I'm happy because Coach Diaz, when he took this job, he said that there would be change in the quarterback room. And I truly do think moving forward, we do have a legit college football quarterback who will have a successful career in the NFL. And I think the standard has been lifted, regarding quarterback play. I do think we have a much better offensive coordinator taking over the ranks. It's a complete upgrade. I know it's not perfect for a lot of people, but I think it's night and day compared to Mark Richt, and it's only going to make the program better moving forward. I'm a little bit disappointed because I felt like this defense was going to pick off where it left off, and it is not the same from previous years under Coach Diaz. I'm a little bit disappointed in that aspect. I wouldn't say a little bit, say very disappointed. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah. I'll leave all of my defensive analysis for tomorrow. But when I look at it, grand scale of things, this defense isn't living up to the standard Manny Diaz left behind.
Right.
Uh, there by no means are we trash, but there's early season woes that we have to deal with as far as tackling issues that I didn't really see under Manny Diaz.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no matter what game it was, first or last, we didn't look as bad as we have up until this point tackling. Uh, Run defense looks pretty well.
Oh yeah, very good, very
Uh,
good. That is like top
run,
five, top 10.
right, yeah, because
Yeah.
and third down defense looks really good also. But our stats have been inflated because of the Bethune Cookman game. So let's also remember that. Just like Jaren's yards per throw and all of his stats, because up until this point he had only thrown 3 touchdown passes. So
Right.
uh,
Right.
that's just my quick defensive. Uh, Offensively, we're doing enough to not lose us games, but we're not doing enough to
Right.
win us games.
I agree.
Um, we're going with high percentage throws because that's what won Jaron Williams the job, as opposed to going after teams and attacking them deep. Jaron Williams right now is 2 of 7 of passes longer than 25 yards.
Yeah.
And that's including the Mark Pope deep post that he threw, which he
Yeah.
had to stop to catch the ball, just like Mike
Yeah.
Harley had to stop to catch the ball. So, by no means am I saying we're trash. By no means am I saying things are horrible. But the tackling, the lack of pass rush, um, and the not attacking teams deep down the field to where guys who we were coming into this season expecting to have all ACC type of seasons up until this point are not having it. John Garvin,
Right.
Shaq Quarterman, Mike Pinckney, Jeff Thomas, KJ Osborne's doing well. Um,
Yeah. Very well.
Brevin Jordan isn't doing much either. So a lot of guys who we thought would be doing well kind of really aren't. A
Yeah.
lot of guys who I thought, kind of caught me off guard. I still think Cam Harris is the best running back on our roster, but statistically,
Okay.
Jay Dallas has been showing up.
Right.
He scored in every game.
Yeah. 100 yards too in every game. Can't
Yeah,
complain.
yeah. I'm not complaining on that, and I'm not saying by any means he's trash either. I think he's done after this year. He's going to the NFL. And I
Really.
think that's why he's playing as hard as he is. He just had a
Okay.
kid. So usually when you can
Right.
kind of put it together when people have kids that they're trying to transition into adulthood going into the NFL. So
Right.
um,
Yeah.
You know, he's a day 3 pick right now, but he could probably creep up to day 2 if he can really
Okay.
come out with a 1,200-yard season rushing, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe 15 total. It's
Yeah.
possible with this lackluster schedule and some, especially those last 3 games of the season, Duke, FIU, Louisville, 2 out of the 3 at home. There's a chance for our players to really pass some stats towards the
Oh
end.
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Um, Speaking of the rest of the schedule, man, what do you think going forward? What kind of games scare you? What are you thinking about really? Because right now, and personally for me, I'm thinking Pittsburgh, Virginia, and Florida State are 3 games that can be a toss up in my opinion. How about for you, someone?
You know, I've said before, this team could just as easily be 10-2 as they can be 8-4. You know, 8-4 or 7-5.
Yeah.
Um, what I want people to understand, you guys have to realize teams do not play Miami the way they play other schools. So of course, Pitt and Georgia Tech and Virginia, they all look kind of average, like pretty good, but kind of average.
Right.
But then they turn around against Miami and look like world beaters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if I'm being honest, even under Manny Diaz, we made some quarterbacks look really, really good.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because he was so aggressive with the blitz that they would do a check down or a deep route and get yards on us.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't hit home, that's the thing about being aggressive. If you don't hit home, that leaves a lot of opening in the back seven.
Oh
and
yeah.
One hell of a tackler if you can.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, moving forward, the Virginias, I'm not satisfied. I can't look at any school for the rest of our remainder of our schedule, excluding Central Michigan and FIU, that I feel like Miami's winning with no doubt. Miami showed me last year we're capable of losing to Duke.
Yeah.
Miami showed me 2 weeks ago we're capable of losing to teams like North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who will go on and win 7 or 8 games.
Yeah. And people in the comment section, a couple people, they're saying Pittsburgh is a bad football team. This team only lost by a touchdown to Penn State in Happy Valley and only lost by 2 touchdowns against Virginia. And we're going on the road to Pittsburgh, which is a annoying place to play because it's Pittsburgh. You're not going to get up for the game. It's not going to hostile environment. It's really cold. A lot of South Florida kids on our roster, I'd say 90%, they're not used to that cold weather in Pittsburgh. It's tough to get a win there.
Right. I mean, shoot, as long as they've tried to force this as a rivalry, I think we're like 3-6 or something like that.
We've been playing them, yeah, because they were in the Big East as well. So we've been playing them every year for quite a while.
And it's just something like when they come to Miami, they don't do well either.
Mm-hmm.
It's the simple fact of the weather effect for both teams, you know.
Right.
Because playing them in late October, the times that we do play them, the weather could be really, really tough for Southern players, period. You know, we recruit Georgia and South Carolina and, you know, as much as we do the state of Florida, you know, Texas, Louisiana, we got guys from those type of areas also on our roster. So they go up there and have to play a game in 40, 50 degree, you know, night game in a half empty stadium. No one really cares right after Thanksgiving. You know, it's one of those type of, we don't know which Miami will show up. And I'm tired of saying that crap.
Oh, yeah. No, it's pretty annoying that we have to literally go into every game, be nervous. It's like, well, if this Miami shows up, we'll win. But if this one shows up, it's like, it can be a toss-up. And I think we saw that against North Carolina. I truly don't think we played a good football game against North Carolina at all.
Nope.
Specifically first half, it was god-awful.
And you were there. I still think the first quarter versus Bethune-Cookman was atrocious.
Oh,
3-and-out versus Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, some people get on here and they, we won, or we beat them by 63 points. They didn't score. They only passed the 50. A lot of those things can be true. 2 things can be true. You know, you could be a good guy and a woman beater. Those things do happen. You could be both. You know, you could be a good football coach and a horrible recruiter. Those 2 things can be true at the exact same time. So Miami could have won by 63-0.
Yeah.
But could have just as easily looked back. That probably was the worst first half I have seen Miami play in a very, very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we came out flat that entire first half. But, at the same time, it's Bethune-Cookman. You can't really get up for the game. You're 0-2. I'm sure there's turmoil in the locker room. There's a lot of negativity around the program. Nobody expected this, even the players. I don't think anyone in general expected this. So I get it. I get why they came out flat. But, they shook it off. That's a good thing. They played much better in the second half.
Yeah. And, are we going to address the fact that the team all of a sudden, like, it's when you look at us forcing something that isn't us, you can tell when we're not playing well. Dan Eno's trying to force a power I type of mindset to Miami players. Yeah, DJ Dallas broke on that touchdown.
Right.
Yeah, we have great rushing yards. But that's because he's trying to force this. Jaron Williams can have the same statistics, yardage-wise, as Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor
Lawrence
from Clemson. If he put him in a spread and let him just throw the ball. But he's forcing a redshirt freshman to play under center, have to turn his back to a defense to carry out a fake while you're pulling around a 355-pound guard and wonder why you give up 2 sacks on the exact same play. I don't get it. I don't get that. But I try to be professional with something. It just doesn't make any sense to me,
man. One thing I thought, Coach Enos was really going to implement playing to our skill set. I honestly feel like he hasn't in that sense.
Right.
Guys like Mike Harley, Mark Pope, D. Wiggins. We saw that end around with D. Wiggins. I mean, that kid can turn up. Literally, that kid can fly. We don't have a red zone identity at all. Like, I don't know. We cannot get a touchdown in the red zone. It really is. There's no words to explain it.
Bethune-Cookman stopped us on 4th and goal.
I don't get it. And then we're running the Wildcat. Like we're basically Mark Richt in 2017 with DJ Dallas. It's like, is it that hard to get in the red zone? I know it's a very difficult place because you only have X amount of space, but we don't have an identity.
And it doesn't seem to stop anywhere. Like, anytime soon doesn't seem like it's going to stop. And that's sad, man.
I really hope we're going to gel at the right time instead of like 4 games left in the season. Kind of like what Mark Richt's first year was with Brad Kaya with the offense when it was clicking. Right. Because this Virginia game, we're going to take care of Virginia Tech. I'm not worried about that game. I'm really not.
I'm super worried.
Really?
Yeah, and here's why.
Okay.
A Bud Foster defense does very well against inexperienced quarterbacks.
Okay.
Even though his talent may not be to the level in which that he had early on in his career, even in the middle, the fact that he can put his players in position. That's what your job is as a coach, to teach and put players in position. I can't go out there and make the tackle for you as a DC. But what I can do is put you in position as a middle linebacker to show a blitz, have you up at the line of scrimmage, and as soon as the ball snaps, you drop back and our pick is right there in front of you. That quarterback wouldn't have thrown the ball if you were still standing in position. But the fact that I had you up here looking as if you're about to blitz, and then when the ball snaps, you bail, and now the ball is right there, I put you in position to make the play. Okay. It's up to you to make it, but it's up to me to put you in the proper position based on not my scheme, not me trying to force you into something. It's based on the fact that my players can do this. Am I going to waste a year, 2 or 3 trying to force players into a position? Or am I going to say, all right, you know what? If we do have 3-4 personnel, oh, well, guys, I know you're going to hate it. You don't like the 3-4. Let's run a 3-4 because we have the personnel to do so.
Okay.
I would be messing up our players if I forced a 3-4 that we don't have the athleticism to do. If we're in a 4-2-5, we look a lot less athletic under Blake Baker than we did under Manny Diaz.
Yeah.
And it's some of the same players.
Yeah.
If Brad Kaya, a guy who can't stay in the NFL right now, could go out there and throw for 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, and Duke Johnson break the rushing record, You can't tell me in a spread offense, you can't tell me that if we were to run a spread, we wouldn't put our players in position to have similar stats with DJ Dallas and Jalen Williams.
Probably better.
Not saying DJ Dallas is better than Duke. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is putting the athletes in position.
We have
Oregon ain't under center. Yeah. Auburn ain't under center. Bama isn't under center. Are we trying to be Wisconsin South? Or are we trying to be Miami? It's just that simple.
15 minutes into the live broadcast. We have 37 people right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Me and Wholesome, when we decided to do this early in the morning, go live. It's always great to talk Canes football, regardless of any situation. Wholesome, can you see the live chat at all? I have it pulled up right in front of me. Any questions you want to talk about that a lot of the subscribers are talking about, would love to discuss?
Sure. We can go down the line. I'll start from the top. A couple people saying what's up. Dennis Wilson came for live. Mr. HD, Joe Jackson, Ibis Praise, 247s, Kyle, 904. Good to have you all in here. Big Will is here. How you doing?
Big Will, what's up, man?
Get some 305 in here. Jason Arnold, everybody in here talking that talk. A couple people admitting that they were wrong, admitting that they were wrong about Mark Pope. People were giving up on Mark Pope, and I told them to give Noodles the ball. But, people hate a guy that loves to hear that he's right. But it's okay. You can hate me.
True.
A couple of questions, mostly coming from 247. He said, here's a question for both of you. If we continue with these early struggles and red zone miscues, what do you think we should do to improve them?
Utilize the tight ends. Specifically, Brevin Jordan. He's your guy. He's your best tight end on the roster. He's probably your best offensive player. It's a debate, but hey, man, target him. Why not throw? If you give the ball to Cam Harris 3 times in the row at the red zone, why not target Brevin Jordan 3 times in a row? Make the defense know, this is our best player. This is who we're going to. Stop him.
If we're doing all these play actions on the goal line versus Bethune-Cookman, where would you versus North Carolina?
Yeah. We're doing we're doing end arounds in the goal line.
This man out here trying to force your favorite guy in the world, number 18, on the dang football field.
Man, Miami Martell. I still believe, man. I think he's going to come up big one day. One game, he's going to come up big.
I bet you do. I bet you do still love him.
He's probably – I've never seen a person ride the bench harder than someone who's had, for jersey sales. He's like the best backup to have their jersey out on sale.
My response to that, if we move Larry Hodges to fullback, then let's use him in the receiving game. So, you can see what he could do, what he did this game with 2 touchdowns, showed you he has the ability. Put him in position to do that against your better teams. My biggest thing that I have always said, if we can do these things against lower tier teams, what happens when the big time schools roll in is what really matters.
Right.
Back when we used to play Florida, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma all the time, that's what Jimmy Johnson loved to talk about. It's not about what you did against La Tech. It's not about what you did against Houston. It's not about what you do against FAU. It's what you do when Florida State comes to the Orange Bowl. When we have to go to Norman, Oklahoma.
True.
When Florida comes down to Hard Rock Stadium. That's when you want to see your best players show up. One thing I have to respect, DJ Dallas has showed up no matter who we played. Matter who we played, he has showed up.
Heart and soul.
That is the type of stuff I expect. KJ Osborne has done some of the same thing. He's one of those guys that no matter who he's played against, given the opportunity, he's done very well.
He doesn't drop a lot of passes either, which I love.
Right. Brevin Jordan, done very, very well, no matter who he breaking tackles.
Yeah.
If there's another thing that I would say needs to change across the board, we got to break tackles.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that a Bethune-Cookman corner should be able to bring down Jeff Thomas in open field when LSU couldn't. But a Bethune-Cookman corner could hit your foot and you fall straight down to it.
That's been Jeff Thomas's performance has been the biggest shocker for me. I did not expect that at all.
I don't know what's going on with bro.
I don't know. I'm just perplexed kind of because I thought he was going to be the guy who was going to like set the tone for the offense.
Right.
You know, 10 touches a game at least was the goal from Coach Enos in the offseason.
And I haven't seen him deserve any of that.
No, yeah, exactly. You know, technically, if he transferred to Illinois, would we be in a better position moving forward? You think about it. You don't think so?
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far. Has he scored yet?
No, he hasn't.
Wait, seriously?
He hasn't scored. He's fumbled. He's fumbled more times than he scored.
He dropped that pass against Florida.
Dropped
He
the
didn't
punt.
score against North Carolina. I think he had like 4 receptions for 50 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
You can get anybody to do that. I mean, Lawrence Cager did that. Jesus Christ.
To be fair, though, like D-Rob said, he has been open a lot every game, according to Coach Enos, when they review film.
So let's think about what is that doing to him psychologically?
He's probably pissed. He's probably really upset.
Yo, they can't get me the ball. I'm wide open. But this quarterback, as I said before, he's not a deep ball thrower. He will never win us a game. He just won't lose us a game.
He puts us in a good position to compete for games.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to me, that puts extra pressure on our receiving core.
Right.
And our running backs, because if he can't win it, that means you guys got to.
Right.
That means when he gets you the 3-yard out, break some tackles and take a 3-yard gain and make it 50. Make it 30. Make it 20. Or make a 1-yard gain, at least a first down. That should be your mindset. Every time I touch the ball, it's either a first down or a touchdown. If Clive Walford could do it, Brevin Jordan could do it. If Philip Dorsett can do it, Jeff Thomas can do it. Come on now.
But hold someone. At the same time, even if he is open, if you consider him your best skill set player on offense, you got to find ways to get him the ball, at least. So put the ball in his hands somehow.
Or are we questioning Jeff Thomas?
I'm questioning Dan Enos. Because if he's your key guy on offense, you make plays around him. This play is designed for Jeff Thomas. Instead of going Wildcat with Tate Martell, why not give Jeff Thomas direct snap? He does it one-on-one with punt returns.
Take him off punt return too. Give that to Pope.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Give it to Pope.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
Less to think about. Just give it to Pope.
Mm-hmm. I hate. Big Will said. Big Will said I like the concept with Larry Hodges at the H-back position, but let's keep him at tight ends position for now.
But he's already been our starting fullback for 3 weeks. Big Will. We replaced Realist George a long time ago. Not on 4Ks. What do you think about a 2 tight end set with Jordan Hodges and DJ?
It's funny we all forget about Mallory. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm just like Mallory's out of the question. Nobody even mentions him after the Gazelle in the offseason. Like that for me is just like mind blowing. Nobody even mentions Mallory anymore.
That's your guy, man.
I was happy for his success in the offseason. He was making plays, man. He was making plays left and right.
Different live where you got on here and was talking that big smack about Will Mallory, man.
I don't remember that. I really don't remember that.
Maybe it's fantasy, but I think I remember that happening. Anybody in the chat remember Paul being on Will Mallory's side? You let me know. Let me know if I'm crazy or not, guys.
I don't know. I was high on Brevin Jordan. I always was. I I don't remember that. But one thing about Will Mallory, man, is that he's got to catch the ball. It's true. Wise Canes
Some
fan.
people in here say they remember.
Yes. Prove it though. Prove it. Just give me the okay. This video, you said this from this time to that time. I'm just hey. If you find that out, I'll say hey. I apologize, but I don't remember it. I was expecting big things probably, because of the off season, but he hasn't shown at all.
You know what would be really crazy if like Will Mallory gets like the Daryl Langham of 2017 to beat Tallahassee in Tallahassee. Like, could you imagine how much crow I would have to eat for that?
Yeah.
I would gladly give me a whole plate of it. I would be
Yeah.
gladly able to take it.
Yeah.
You know, like what if he has a great second half of the season where he just comes out of nowhere? Or even your guy 18. What if he takes a slant to the crib versus Tallahassee? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna boo him the entire way down the field. Like, boo. Because I feel like he's gonna fumble right at the goal line or something.
What's going on with Lorenzo Lingard, man? Have you heard anything from
Concussion.
Lingard? Concussion? I'm dying for him to see the field.
You know that's a touchy subject, man. As soon as that comes in, every head coach just puts their hands up like,
yeah,
nothing I can do at this point.
Yeah.
Concussion. I see a question here I would really, really love to answer. Host,
go for it.
Where is Jonathan Garvin? Among the players, I'm very, very disappointed in. He's at the top of my list. Because I spent all off season on countless shows, countless lives, countless uploads, hyping the John Garvin train up, hoping ACC Network heard me. This man has shown nothing of what I saw or foresaw him being able to do. And this is a guy who wants to go to the NFL at the end of this season? You're telling me you have average film versus Bethune-Cookman? You have 2 total tackles and an assist TFL versus Bethune-Cookman? You have no stats to talk about versus Florida?
Yeah.
A bunch of assist tackles versus North Carolina? What happened to the days of Miami Hurricane teams, especially on the defensive side of the ball, especially under Manny Diaz? They were solo tackle artists. Of course, other people made it over there eventually, but the first guy that got there 9 times out of 10 brought you down. And we are missing those good tacklers.
Yeah.
Redwine and Jaquan Johnson and Joe Jackson and Gerald Willis, guys who will bring you down immediately. We have none of that. It was like 3 times Pat Bethel had a guy in the backfield that turned into like a no game or a 2-yard game because he went in with the arm tackle crap. The guy stiffs him to the ground and then just runs straight out of bounds. Just outflanks the entire defense out of bounds. And David Feely with all this 20-yard miles per hour crap, I ain't seen none of it. Except for Mark Pope, D. Wiggins, and Mike Harley.
Yeah.
I haven't seen speed. Miami does not look like Miami as far as speed-wise. We look very slow. We look very sluggish, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if this Florida and UNC losses back-to-back just took something out of the team. Maybe they're not buying into the hashtag TNM that Manny Diaz was preaching because we were 0-2. Maybe that's what it is. But this team just is underperforming and there's nothing around it. It's just the truth.
Wholesome one. Where is Chigoziem Oruka and Trayvon Hill? Have they made it through the transfer portal yet?
All I'm going to say is politics. Politics. There's no way on God's green earth Scott Patchy, a career backup, should be starting over an ACC first-teamer, Trayvon Hill. That is sickening. That is sad. And to know Miami had to blitz Bethune-Cookman to get 2 sacks. Just like I said, 10-2, 8-4, 7-5. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
They're either going to be really good or they're going to be average.
Yeah. And this is where Coach Diaz makes his money, guys. He's going to need to make an adjustment on defense or in general that other head coaches in the past have not made. Mark Richt with the offense killed us last year and in general his whole career. Al Golden with Mark D'Onofrio killed the program and killed his career. Can Coach Diaz make the adjustment on defense to win us football games?
And I think he will, because he's even like asked people, he's even done stuff like the offensive line, second game of the season, willing to make that adjustment type of thing,
Right.
So if he's willing to do stuff like that, he's willing to put that pressure on the OC and the offensive line coach. Now, my only thing is, as a defensive-minded coach like I am, is he going to favor the defense or hold them to even higher standard and force things? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. It's just the whole defense as a whole. Like, besides like our rush defense, we have not gotten to the quarterback at all. I think Gregory Rousseau leads the team in sacks with 2 sacks. Our linebackers, they've completely regressed.
Time out.
Yeah, go for it.
Time out. Did you just say Gregory Rousseau leads the team with 2.5 sacks?
I think so. I think that's what it is. It's no one has over 3.
How does that sound?
I think it's one of those things we would have never expected talking about in the offseason if you bring it up. Something's off.
I just wanted to hear that again. I didn't know if I heard that correctly.
Yeah, no, something's off with this defense. It's pretty evident. Our secondary, yes, we lost Jaquan Johnson, Michael Jackson, Sheldrick Redwine. We lost a lot of players, but still, man, it's bad. It just I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe we've had different defensive line coaches. Todd Strauss, a new coach. We had Craig Kulagowski, Jesse Simpson, new coaches.
Losing Coach Simpson was tough, man. I love Kulagowski, but the way they loved Coach Simpson, man. The way they played with him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, Gerald Willis was amazing, but guys like John Garvin, like, they would run straight to him. They would go past Manny Diaz to jump on Jess Simpson. Like, I don't know. It's different. Like, I've had coaches that have passed on that I still think about to this day. It's different, like, when you have a connection with your coach and you want to go out there and play so that he looks good. I don't know if the same thing is happening with Coach Stroud. But I'm not going to blame him, because I know that defensive coordinators have the final say on things. So I think this team is focused on stopping the run rather than flying up the field, making plays in the backfield, forcing interceptions. I think they're going to stop the run, rally to the football, and play zone. I think those are the things they're focused on. And it sounds like Mark D'Onofrio to me.
Yeah, no. It sounds like a defensive coordinator who doesn't play to not only South Florida skill set, but the skill set that Miami recruits at, athletes.
Right.
It sounds like Big Ten football. That's what it sounds like to me.
When you have the athletes to play Miami football.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to think twice on how to produce. You got the talent, just let the guys go out there and play press, man, defense. That's it.
Exactly.
That's what Randy Shannon said. Yo, you did this in high school, hey boss. Go out there and do that thing right here. I'll give you cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, and man. That's it. The only 4 things I'm going to give you. And you just go out there and get after the quarterback.
And it's not like we play in a division where there's better athletes than us. Miami has the best athletes in the ACC Coastal by far.
Shoot, I mean, we're third if you count the entire conference behind Clemson and Tallahassee.
But you know what, man? That's the thing. And we spoke about this earlier off camera, is Coach Baker's defensive scheme, is it making the players think more? We just saw Bandy get embarrassed on a stop and go route against UNC. Are the players thinking more? They're not being able to play naturally? What do you think it is?
Well, first we got a $5 donation. If you want to go ahead and
Oh,
address that.
yeah, absolutely. Who was it by? Oh, Dwayne the Baker. What's up, man? Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot, man. This is a grind, guys, and every donation really does help us out, man. I think I speak for a lot of YouTubers. We can all agree, man. This is a grind, and thank you guys so much for even if it's 1 penny to $5. Greatly appreciated, guys. Sacks are at a minimum because teams are getting the ball out quicker. Teams have done their homework on us. Number one havoc rate in the country will do that. I don't know if they've done their homework on us because we've been doing it since Coach Diaz has gotten here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and Mac Brown.
They had the formula against us 16, 17, 18, but it was successful all 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's actually a really, really good comment as far as thinking that these coaches in our conference get paid too. You know, they're going to come up with ways to attack us also.
Right.
But it's plenty of times against Bethune-Cookman, and both the DC and Manny Diaz said we had players in the backfield but didn't bring the guy down.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Felipe Franks was like in the grasp of our defensive ends at least 5 times, and they didn't bring him down.
Yeah. Even Sam Howell, too. We're not wrapping up. We're not finishing tackles.
And that, to me, we didn't have to worry about tackling with Manny Diaz. Yeah. Even when we were focused on getting the turnover chain with big hits and strips, we still were bringing people down first.
Yeah. There was a time with Coach Diaz where if it was 3rd or 4th down, you were going for it. We were so confident. It was like, we don't go for it. You're not going to get the 1st down. It was like that. That was the mentality. It's a complete 180.
And I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. And I'm one of those people, I love to be right. Oh, I love it. But if I'm proven wrong, but it's for the betterment of the Miami Hurricanes family, of course I don't have a problem with it. If 18 goes out here and gets 500 yards and 6 touchdowns and a second-team All-ACC, I'll say, well, I don't like him. I don't like his fans, but great job. You know, happy for what you did for the University of Miami. You know, that probably it's better than what a couple other receivers are doing on our team right now. You know, if 53, a guy I've been super critical of, he goes out there and gets the game-winning pick against Florida State, I'm going to be 53. You finally made it. It took you 5 years, but you made a play.
Yeah.
I'll be happy for him.
Yeah.
So when we're critical of players, it's because up until right now, we haven't seen what we thought we would. It's not saying hop off the train, they suck, you know, except for Paul when it comes to Bandy. We're not even going to get into that. But, you know, it's gotten to a point where it's like, you really just be like, all right, man, I don't even.
Right.
You ever think you would say to yourself, I don't even know if we could win 9 games.
It's going to be a dogfight. I'm telling you, Virginia
thing is out the window. Like I have accepted there's another loss somewhere down here.
I definitely 100% agree with that, but I think 10-2 can happen, but you have to win the final drive. I think that's what's missing. Like again, against UNC in Florida, win the final drive. That really makes you – that's the difference in a season. And learning how to end games, too. 4th and 17, end the game. That's it.
And 2 back-to-back sacks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't the Florida loss seems to be a lot easier to take in than the North Carolina loss.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, because North Carolina wasn't a good football team. And I know a lot of people on my videos were commenting, oh, they're a new team. Mac Brown's coaching. Yo, they only won 2 conference games in the past. Out of 17 games, they've only won 2. They lost to Wake Forest.
Is Mac Brown comes back, so he gives them like a surge.
Yeah.
You know, they're feeding off of the hypeness of beating a rival squad. They haven't beaten 3 years.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, beating Miami, who they haven't beaten in 3 years. You know, like they were riding off of that, and then lost to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
A team that came out and was bombs over Baghdad, which is what I said. Miami should do is throw the day. And you can't tell me Wake Forest offense is better than Miami. You can't tell me Wake Forest talent is better than Miami. You can't even tell me Wake Forest coaching staff is better than Miami. So what are we talking about here?
They only held
question and execution of those things. That's it.
They held Sam Howell to 19 passing yards in the first half. 19 passing yards. That won them the football game.
And even when they had that late surge, it wasn't enough.
Right.
And you have to make game-winning plays. That's what you are getting a full ride scholarship to do, is to make game-winning and game-changing plays. And none of our players are doing that, except for DJ Dallas and Brevin Gordon.
Wholesome one. 40 minutes in. You want to do some call-ins?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put my number in the chat.
Let's do it. Absolutely. I'm down. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I know it's kind of hard to get excited when you have Central Michigan. You came off of Bethune-Cookman week. It's tough, but I guarantee you, man. Let's stick with it, man. Trust the process.
Also, Paul, we have, and I did this in my upload, 52,096 people for Bethune-Cookman opener. Amazing.
Wow.
Thank you all for everyone that showed up to that dang game. That was an amazing opportunity. You're on live with the host of Miami Hurricanes Talk. Who is this?
What's going on, guys, man? It's Jamaica Hurricane, man.
What's up?
Okay, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Okay, let's listen. Great, man, but I want to make some couple points too, because think about this, man. Wake Forest beat those guys, and everybody is saying, how come that happened? Let me tell you something, man. You just said it, someone. He was kept to 19 points or whatever he was kept to. It comes down to being ready, prepared to play against Carolina that night.
Yeah.
Whatever scheme we came out with just didn't work. And I just heard you before on the Zoom channel. I was going back and forth. Man, I wish I could have got into that a little bit, because I was making so much points. But while y'all was making points, I'm sure everybody else was like, man, I wish I could say this. I wish I could say that. Awesome. Defensive-wise, being ready to play defensive-wise against Carolina, scheme-wise, I was not happy with. Now, y'all saying that we should have gotten more sacks. I agree with the one guy that put the money in and saying that they're getting rid of the ball quicker. They're going to do that for the rest of the year. They're going to continue to do that.
Right.
But the problem is, there's nothing to explain when we're not getting to the quarterback and bringing them down, or we have short tackles and we're not making the tackles, or we have short schemes. I watched that game a lot. Man, he should have burned the timeout. Or here's the biggest thing about that. Here's the biggest thing about the whole 4th and 17 thing that I still cannot believe happened. Here's my biggest thing about it. While we was on TV timeout, you can't tell me Manny didn't go over there and say to Baker, what are you about to run? If I find out that he didn't do any of that, that's giving a first-year guy on a Big 5 team way too much rope to do whatever he wants. You know you need this victory. You know what it means to the program. You are not the head coach. 4th and 17 should never happen against us, and we don't come out of that. That gives you your first win. That gives you your first win on the road. That gives everybody confidence. That also helps with everything else that we need to make sure it happens. And there's no way you come out of that. No way. You cannot tell me at the timeout you didn't go and say, listen, what are you running here? And if you come over there and say that you agree with that, I better not ever find out that he agreed with that, whatever, soft zone or whatever, you may know a little bit more about what he ran. But if Manny agreed with it, and I don't know if we'll ever find out, I'm very disappointed. Speak on that a little bit for me, guys.
I personally think that he definitely did agree on that, because the timing, we did have a TV timeout. But if we had a TV timeout, which is only 25 seconds, why not call a full 60-second timeout, an actual timeout, to make sure we go over. Does everyone know? Everyone know what we're about to call? Yes. What if they come out in this? What if they come out in that? Especially you call a timeout when they first line up so that you can illustrate to everyone, all right, no, scratch that, because they're out in the 3-by-1, and there's no way that we can make it to the quarterback that fast.
And there's no way they was gonna put the ball there. There's no way they put the ball. We win the game, so you can't have that as a mindset that we came out unprepared and wasn't prepared for, and thinking they was gonna punt. I don't know who came up with that nonsense. I kind of heard some of the guys on the TV. There's nonsense. There's no way. There's no way.
And what my biggest thing is, what was Bandy looking at? Jesus. If you got deep thirds or flats and there's no one in front of you, how do you not have heels to the marker and say, I'm forcing anything in front of me, nothing's behind me? I still can't understand.
And I'm not making this up. When they scored, when they made that 4th and 17, I took a look at the guys that's around the ball and the guys that's off the ball. All they did was just jog and just look, and they didn't even look disappointed. You know, when somebody get that type of yardage on you, everybody starts to question everybody and getting mad and like pump their fists and being upset. Like, what the hell are we doing? Nobody did that. Guys, go back and look. I swear, I hate to go back. Nobody did that.
Because they probably understood, like, this was a dumb call. You probably had some players go, Coach, no, let's not call that. And like I said before, I am hoping that what we're getting from Blake Baker isn't what Manny Diaz brought to Mac Brown at Texas. Your first big-time job, and you're out here just lollygagging because you don't really know what you're doing at this level just yet.
Right.
Miami is not a place where we're going to have trial and error at our coordinator positions.
Well, I'll tell you what. Great point. I'll tell you what. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about who they're playing. I think they played Wisconsin, and I forgot who Central Michigan played, or who they played before that. But I'll tell you what, if we allow them to be in the game at halftime, because what they'll do, they can spread you out, and if we're not making tackles, or if we're not being sound, somehow they can find 13 points on that board, and somehow we only have 17, and it's 17-13 going into halftime. I would be very disappointed.
Well, get prepared, because that's exactly what you're about to see.
No, it's no laughing matter either. He's making a great point. Listen, I can't stop thinking about. I need to go watch Central Michigan at some point this week just to see what they do exactly, what they try to do. But if it's 13-17 at halftime, it would be bad. Okay, let's get back to the Cookman game here. Okay, there's no way on God green's earth you have all that talent on the sideline, and you need to make a statement, and you know the media is going to be all over you behind about starting fast and finishing fast and getting to the red zone, and you go to a tricky play with a kid that you guys have on the depth chart as a backup wide receiver. He then checks in as a wildcat quarterback. So if you ask me, we got to stop 4th and 1, and the offensive coordinator has to share the blame on that, because you take all the life out the offense by going to that trick play for no reason at all. And if you remember, we did the same thing against Florida. We're down between the 10, maybe the 5. We goes in the trick plays, 2 plays in a row, and got nothing out of it. Am I wrong for saying that? We got nothing out of those 2 trick plays against Florida. And he comes back again against the 2 Cookman and does the same thing?
Like I said, overcoaching ourselves. The only reason why I let Blake Baker off the leash to a certain extent with 4th and 17 is we called that earlier on in the game and it was successful. But if you have been a big-time Power 5 coordinator, you would know I can't go back to a successful play because I'm going up against an experienced coach who's going to say they're going to send that same blitz. And how do we not check out of that blitz when they have a tight end and a running back to that exact same side?
Why are we sending a guy that he can see coming to him?
How can we have a tight end and a running back to the left of Sam Howell, and we send a blitz from the left of Sam Howell? How does that even make any sense? But, you know, I'm just a guy in North Dakota with dreadlocks.
No. For what reason do we show? First of all, he's an elusive guy. So what you do, like everybody's been saying all week, you shoot the gaps. You said linebackers with their hands up if they can't get to him in the gap, flush him out, and then you play the stick. Now, God, if he runs for that, we'll feel better as a fan base that he ran for that. 17 yards instead of him throwing the ball and successful there. No one expected that to happen. There's no way that should have happened. I'm probably the most disappointed in that play more than into the 3 games. That 4th and 17 is going to it's starting to define the season, and that's a shame.
Got you. Well, all right, Jamaica Kane, we're going to go ahead and let some other people hop on here, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate it.
I mean, you probably already subscribed to Miami Hurricanes Talk channel, but, you know, hey, promote all of us and much love. We appreciate you.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for calling in.
All right, have a good one. All right, phone lines have opened back up.
That was a good call. And very well said.
Yeah, man.
That was pretty good.
It's different, you know, when you finally get an opportunity to start having phone calls, like, because comments is one thing. You can kind of get what they're saying a little misconstrued, but
right.
You hear how they're saying what they're saying, it kind of takes it all to a different level.
Right. All right. Next caller.
We'll take 2 more. Anybody else need a number? Y'all got it. I heard Clove Kane in here asking for it, so go ahead and call now. You on with the host of the Miami Hurricanes Talk. Who is this?
This is Clove Kane.
There we go, boss. What's up?
Not nothing. Yeah, you're right. You hit on them. You can get those chats misconstrued. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was calling in. I've been putting in the chat. Did you all not see when Manny actually took over the defense in the late 3rd quarter and 4th quarter and see the difference in the way that defense started playing aggressive and causing havoc?
So you saying he took over the defense, or are you saying that he went off on Blake Baker?
If you go back and watch the game in the late 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter, they would show, like when the defense was out there, they showed Manny get down on his knees and making the calls for what they need to do. That told me Manny took over that defense in the late 3rd and 4th quarter. If you go back and look at it and watch, I mean, don't take your eyes off it when the game's going on in the late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. You'll see they showed Manny probably 2 or 3 times where he was actually making the calls of what they need to do on that play.
Wow.
On plays.
Uh-huh.
I've been putting that in the chat. I put it in the chat earlier when you was on with your big brother. And I was trying to see if y'all caught that or not. But yeah, if you go back and look at that game, you will see that. I do believe Baker's scheme is not fit for our defense. I agree with you 100% on that. It looks like he's doing too much zone, and you would have to break that down, Wholesome, as far as gap integrity and gap
assignment and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, you would have to, because I'm not seeing them come off the ball to try to get, it looks like they're trying to contain their gap.
Say it again, Club.
I mean, I'm just saying, I've been saying it through a lot of chats. A lot of people ain't been catching it, but it looks like they're just trying, seriously, it looks like they're trying to contain their gap. It doesn't look like they're bringing havoc. Then you got your defensive ends dropping back. I don't understand that. They're not causing havoc like last year because they're not being told that, hey, fly to the ball. That's not Miami Hurricanes defense. That's not Miami Hurricanes football.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just the 4-2-5 version of Mark Diafrano. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not walking away from that.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I agree with you 100%. Now, on the flip side of that, I've been saying this, and I got a lot of heat for it and everything. I know we have talent, but we just not quite there yet. We just not.
Oh yeah. That's understandable. Absolutely.
You know.
I mean, we would all love to be on the level of Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, but we haven't been recruiting or developing on that level, and that's just the honest truth.
Right. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100 on that one.
Right.
Let me see what else I wanted to talk about, because when you finally get on the phone, you lose track of what all you want to talk about. Let's see. As far as the offensive calling, I'm not happy with a lot of the offensive calling, but I'm okay with that. I know there's some, assignments that's being missed and all that good stuff. But I tell you what, would you rather have Enos or would you rather have Rick calling plays?
Well, I mean, at least Mark Rick dialed up some deep balls for Jeff Thomas. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he dialed up some deep balls, but Jared couldn't get him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Jared's been down. JT4 been down the field a couple of times in all 3 games.
So let me ask you this. How is it that Malik Rozier, a baseball player, could do it, but Jared can't?
Oh, hold on now. I didn't say Jared could now. I'm not debating you on that one.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I saw 2 passes that was underthrown. One to Poe. What was it, last game? One to, who was that? Was it Harley? And then he overthrew, some passes, this last game against Bethune, So I'm not debating that now, but I'm just saying there has been deep routes that they have taken. He just couldn't get him the ball.
Right.
So it ain't like they ain't trying to dial up. I do agree with y'all on the Dak Prescott thing. I mean, he's just throwing, 15-yard, 20-yard, 10-yard screens, bubbles. I do agree that, but hey, that's who they got in at quarterback right now. Ain't really nothing we can do about that. But yeah, I just wanted to call in. I never called into the show. Got the opportunity to talk to both of you all.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of you all. I think y'all doing a great job.
Thank you.
Also, you already know what it is. You saw my reply on one of those shows. So
I appreciate
y'all keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm gonna get back in the chat, let y'all take some more calls, and I appreciate y'all taking my call now.
Of course,
absolutely.
Man. Have a great one, OG.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling.
All righty. This is good, man. This is fun.
Yeah, it's nice hearing people's voices instead of just typing,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it gets boring doing it from our perspective, but it's always nice to have someone else, hop on and say,
"Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like this, I like that," or hey, if I said something, call me out on it. I'm not saying I haven't been wrong, but few and far between with a lot of my analysis. So, yet again, I think Mark Pope might get his first touchdown this week.
I hope so. How's his injury? Have you heard a status?
Yeah, his ankle swollenness.
Okay.
So it wasn't.
They might sit him out, I feel like, just to rest if it's not.
Yeah. Do we have another mini bye before? Oh.
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
$10 donation.
Oh. Thank you. Chug Mobir. Thank you so much, man. Great show. I think the D-line's talent is not as good as last year because Willis and Jackson made everyone look better last year. What do you both think? That is a outstanding question. I would love for Wholesome One to start the question off.
Okay, so the defensive line talent has dropped off. But from 2016 to 2017 to 2018, and even now in 2019, the star system and recruiting at the defensive line position has been similar. The only anomaly was Gerald Willis, who was a former 5-star.
Right.
But he also was 24 years old going up against 19 and 20-year-old men. So let's just go ahead and get that understood. He was expected to dominate.
Yeah.
Being that old. Number 2, the only difference between those defensive lines and now is scheme. You can't tell me Kendrick Norton get after the quarterback and play on the other side of the ball, but Pat Bethel can't, a former 4-star defensive end, Under Armour All-American, can't do it. RJ McIntosh, you can't tell me that John Ford, who's bigger, stronger, faster, can't play on the other side of the ball. It's all about what you allow them to do. What scheme are you putting them in to make the plays?
Right.
If I tell you you have gap responsibility, that's one thing. But if I tell you have gap integrity, that's a whole different ordeal.
Ben Pratt donated $10. Just want to say thank you so much, man. Not only for donating, but for watching and commenting and just participating in all our channels in general, man. I know you're like literally a kind of a avid fan of us, and you're always on our shows, man. I greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Just for leaving your content, what you think, and watching our shows and supporting us, man. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much, Ben Pratt. Words cannot express how great and happy we are to have you as a subscriber. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you, Ben Pratt. You've been real good to all of us, man, honestly. Just had a caller on, but you were talking about the donation, so I'm going to try to hurry up and call him back.
Man, but D-line, I'm dying to see Jahvari Harvey. I think he's going to be a stud, dude. Like, that's someone who I've just been with. I feel like he's in a cage just trying to get out, you know? Like,
Hello?
You're on live with the host of Miami Hurricanes Talk. Who is this?
Hey, this is Kyle.
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, boss?
What's up, Kyle? How you doing?
What's going on? I came in here kind of late because I'm at the gym.
It's all good.
Overheard Club talking about Manny taking over the defense at one point in time. But what game were y'all talking about where he kind of took over or what?
Well, according to Club Kane, I don't know. My thing was, I think eventually Bethune-Cookman just was out athleted and eventually realized they were out of the game. And then we started actually scoring points. So I don't really know about Manny calling the plays, but Club Kane said that third quarter and fourth quarter, Manny Diaz called the plays. I'm thinking because in his eyes, we just looked like we were playing a lot more aggressive and fast, more like under Manny Diaz. That's what I'm thinking, and that's where my mind was, but I still think Blake Baker was calling the plays.
Okay, I was just wanting to know what game he was talking about, but now that you mentioned it, I do remember seeing him on the sideline doing basically the same stuff he used to do, but I didn't know if he was actually calling plays or what. But whether he was or not, he needs to keep Baker by his side during the game.
Yeah.
He needs to be like in Baker's ear, hey, you're not doing this. You need to do this more.
Yeah.
Baker's got to know, man, that he is consistently in training. That's one thing about Saban's coaches. He will get on their ass if he sees them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm kind of out of breath right now, but
no, it's okay. I'm sick too. I'm over here drinking water. I'm usually drinking soda.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Why everybody swear I'm an alcoholic, man?
You gotta do an advertisement, man. You gotta do the advertisement now.
Oh my God! Do I even have one of those cups up here? I have a Fat Tuesdays cup.
I think Enos is really trying to experiment too much at the beginning of the game. And I'm okay with experiment to see what plays will work here and there, but make sure you got 21 points on the board before you start doing anything like that. Because when he was doing all that, I just didn't feel like the tight ends or the wide receivers were getting into rhythms. The only thing that's really working out for us so far is our run game, and I'm really happy with that.
Right. That's something else, because remember,
I'm about to get 10 times better with lane guard. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask you a question as far as what is your mindset as a fan? Because we're analysis, but as someone who just enjoys the Canes and watches them on TV, what is your viewpoint on Dan Enos under center as opposed to waiting until the second half or waiting till we're down by 14 to put us in a spread and then go straight down the field and score touchdowns?
Oh, I think you asked me this question the other night.
Oh, I might have.
I mean, yeah, you did, because I'll say the same thing. It's just what he's always done.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You did say that.
He's always been that type of coach that says, hey, we're going to start under center, and if it's third and long, or if we need a little bit more space to help out with the blitz, then I'm going to run you out shotgun. But, I mean, I've like I said, I've always been one of those people that like the under center thing, but I can also understand with the offensive line being so young and skeptic at times that, you know, someone could misread a play call and someone gets a free blitz become right in our face, like as soon as the ball snaps.
Right. Which is what's been happening.
But I feel like us being under center, though, is actually helping us out with buying some time, because, I mean, the opposing defensive line, they're actually looking, hey, are they running it, or is it going to be a pass? And if we're going to continue to run under center, I would say, with me being a Cowboys fan, I mean, we need to do play actions a lot more. I mean, because it's actually working for them.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat for the Cowboys saying that they're running play action around 45%, maybe a little bit more.
Right.
Plays, and I think, you know, them doing that is actually going to not only help out our run more, but it's actually going to help out our offensive line more for the pass.
But I think that biggest thing is people are fearful of Ezekiel Elliott. You know, is anybody going to confuse DJ Dallas for one of the best running backs in the country? You get what I'm saying? Like, DJ Dallas can scare a defense, but it's not to the level in which Ezekiel Elliott scares a defense. So that's why I think their play action works so well, because they're highly talented offensive line and their running back is some of the best. So that's why it scares teams away to where they're like, run, oh, back up. When, as far as, honestly, I believe Miami has the talent to be a pass-first team and be extremely successful if we did that.
Right. Yeah, we do have the talent to pass first, to set up the run. I mean, we do have that. And, you know, maybe that's what we're actually doing. But I think just if he stops experimenting, I mean, once he gets a game plan together, talking about, you know, he just needs to stick with it until we're comfortably ahead.
Right.
I mean, you know, because after these first two games, we can't afford anything.
Right.
Not even against Central Michigan, not against Bethune-Cookman. I mean, just you know, get your game plan, call the play. One thing that was kind of ticking me off is if you're going to bring Tate Martell out there, or if you're going to bring DJ Dallas out there in the Wildcat, and you go for it on 4th and 1, I would prefer you to not be in the I formation where everybody basically knows who's coming. I want you to stay in the Wildcat and power that ball for 1 yard. Right.
And I could understand that, and there's no way in the world that Miami should have been stuffed by Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
Like that is just unacceptable. You know, there's no way you could slice that to make that better. No way.
Right.
So, I mean, I 100% feel you.
That on any part of the day from Wildcat, that would have been, you know, done. I mean, I don't even think I saw any Wildcat in this game. I saw a tape package, but I did not see the Wildcat. And I mean, I hate to keep calling it Wildcat because it's Miami Hurricanes. I want to call it the Category 5 so bad, but
yeah, you don't want people to misunderstand, you know, because
right.
But yeah, I get that. You know, one more thing. We try to keep it under 10 minutes. So one more thing you got to say, or a question, or
yeah,
sure.
When you are talking about the defense and everything, I think our secondary will be good. But do you think that this is more of a 4-2-5 version of the Tampa 2 cover rather than a 4-2-5 aggressive like last year?
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Paul, you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that they're just – but I mean, to be honest with you, a Tampa 2 had an aggressive front. If we think about Warren Sapp being able to fly out that 3 technique. So is it more about, in your opinion, is it about the scheme or the lack of players? Because Pat Bethel ain't no Warren Sapp.
That's true. That's a great point.
No, but I still think that he's got a lot of talent that has not been shown yet.
Who?
Bethel.
Well, he better start showing it real soon.
Yeah, yeah, because we about to get in conference play, homie. And
yeah.
I want to start seeing that defense. I mean, because I really hate the fact that it's like for the past couple of years, you know, we've had a top 10 defense. And now that we got an offense that's actually put points on the board, now it seems like our defense is taking a step back. And now we're taking a step back in actual competing against teams that we should actually be blowing out. So,
okay. Yeah, you got a point. Well, let me say this before you get off. What if what we're seeing is a coaching staff trying to continuously better themselves? Like, there's a lot of things I've seen mid-game, a lot of adjustments I've seen. I'm pretty happy for that. They're not waiting until 2-3 weeks to adjust. It's just not happening off the ripper. You know, like first quarter, Dan Eno's team offensively looks bad, but second half in all 3 of these games, well, not really Florida, but second half they've come out and done some different things. So maybe they're trying to find a niche to stick to. I just hope that they figured it out earlier on so that we're not in the hole and have to dig ourselves out of it.
I have seen that. I have really seen we're becoming more of a second half team, but you know, it's kind of like you said, you know, especially with the offense. I don't want them to jump out 14 or 17 points and then us make major adjustments coming into the half. You know, I mean, do you think, and I'll get off the phone after I ask this question, do you think Enos could make better adjustments as the game goes on from the booth and on those?
Ooh.
That was a good question.
That's actually really good because
really
most OCs I see, NFL or college, are in the booth. Like, you have a person who's designated for hand signals that the coach is sending down from up top. But it's easier for you to see as a play caller the entire field, and you're able to see how a defense lines up. And then you can say, all right, we could go back to this formation, but instead of just having DJ flare out, let's have them do a wheel route. Let's motion them out to the slot and see how they adjust to that. That's the thing when you're an offensive play caller, is you show a lot of things early to see how people adjust that you'll execute later. I'm not seeing that with Dan Enos. You know, I'm not seeing, of course, there's a whole bunch of motion. It's ridiculous that Miami fans had to clap at a spring game because we had motion. That's crazy. But I'm seeing a whole bunch of motion, but I'm not seeing that motion with a different route. I'm not seeing that motion with a simple adjust to where if we had double slants and then had a tight end do a wheel behind 2 slants. I haven't seen stuff like that. And I'm a defensive guy and I'm able to come up with this stuff. This is why I'm not understanding why it's not happening at Miami.
By the way, did y'all see Mallory get a pass thrown in at all this past game?
I mean, I don't think he deserves it, but
I don't know what's up with him. He's been quiet. It's almost like they're using him more as a blocker than anything. I mean, it's, you know, Brevin Jordan needs some help out there.
And Larry Hodges is giving it to him.
Oh, yeah. I was actually very impressed with Larry Hodges. So, all right, guys, but I'll get off here and let someone else call in, or y'all continue the show. So, thanks for letting me call in.
Anytime, man. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, man. You and Paul, y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Canes fans. So we're closing in. We're going to have one more caller. We've been trying to keep them under 10 minutes so we can get more and more people. You know, on my channel, I'll be having people on for 80 minutes. So we're not doing that on Paul's channel. We got to respect his time. So we'll have one more caller call in. And then after that, we'll do closing remarks and then set up for the defensive conversation on my channel tomorrow. So I can go ahead and put my number back in the chat if everyone doesn't see it. But But I'll ask you this, Paul, before they call in. You'll probably won't even have a chance to answer this. But do you think that the Miami Hurricanes offense will open up later on in the season? Are you waiting for that? Is that what you're sitting here saying? Maybe he's saving stuff for ACC play. Is that something you have in your head or not?
100%. 100%. I think we're going to start gelling. And if we gel at the right time, we're just going to take off. And I'm hoping it's during Virginia Tech, Virginia, going into Florida State, Pittsburgh during conference play. I remember Ryan Collins was interviewed with the Orange Bowl boys, and they asked him the same question. Is this offense going to take time to gel? Ryan Collins was a quarterback back in Miami in the 90s, I believe. And he said, yeah, it's going to take some time. And I think so too. Once, Coach Enos knows who the guys he has moving forward, who's his go-to guys, his playmakers. I think we're going to be a really good football team. I'm just hoping it's at the right time.
Right. And, me and you have talked about this off camera. My biggest thing is I don't want what happened with Mark Richt as far as 4-0, 0-4, 5-0, which isn't bad. Well, it is because you lost 4 straight. But we were in every one of those games and then we had a 5-game winning streak. Yeah. And I think the right thing about college football, there are a couple factors that really weigh into this. Home and away games, those are huge, especially with young, inexperienced teams. Huge home and away games. The way your schedule sets up, do you play? Because usually we play like if the Carolinas come down here, then we would have to go to like at Georgia Tech, at Pittsburgh. But this year sets up to where the Carolinas and Georgia Tech come down, and our only ACC conference play that really, really makes me extremely nervous is going at Pitt, because I think going at Duke would – I don't know. I think Alabama kind of took their soul out of them. But
yeah, we'll be fine.
They played real tough with Middle Tennessee State. But at the same time, like I always say, they'll play Miami different because they came into Miami and beat us at home for the first time since the 70s. God, that hurts. Well, I mean, hey, if no one calls in, we can spend the last 15 minutes on a Q&A session. Or not Q&A, but last remarks if you want to go ahead. Just keep
Absolutely. We can do a quick Q&A if no one calls in. Let's pop up in your phone line just in case. And please leave questions in the meantime.
Oh, all right. I got another call in. What's up? You on live with the host when the Miami Hurricanes talk?
Hey guys, listen. Can I get one more time? Let's get one more time. This is Jamaica Kane. I forgot to get this in. It's about Jeff Thomas and what's been going on with the way he looks. I wanted to get this out a long time ago. Something is going on there. Earlier you guys was discussing, or maybe you was discussing with Zoe, hosting was like, who's our number 1 wide receiver, who's our number 2, and who's our number 3 guy. And I'm going to say this. It just can't be our number 1. We have to hurry up and start identifying who's going to be 1, 2, and 3, because there's no reason why he shouldn't be getting more looks, more touches. And I don't know if that's a reflection of the coach being upset with him, or he's being upset and he's not showing the stuff in practice. He's not bringing what he needs to bring. I think they just have him out there to turn punts. Just put him out there because he came back, but I don't see the desire. And another thing that bothers me about 2 or 3 of our guys, why every time he gets tackled, he is loading up. I'm watching all these other teams in the country. Every time receivers get hit, they pop up and run up to the huddle or get off the field, whatever, but they don't look hurt. Why do all our guys, or most of our wide receivers, get hit and it takes them 500 and not every year to get up and get back to the huddle? Curious.
Paul, you want this one?
No, I want you to start off on someone because this is a great question. I got to think about it for a little while, to be honest.
I think the biggest thing is, let's look at it like this. I think that Florida game took a lot out of Jeff Thomas.
True.
He was open a lot, didn't get the ball thrown his way much. When he did, He had 2 or 3 receptions, but he dropped 2 or 3 of them. He had the game-winning touchdown in his hands and dropped it. He had a big muff punt and dropped it. So I think he needs a big stage. He's not going to get his mind and everything back together off of doing well against Bethune-Cookman. He's not going to get his mind and everything back together off of doing well against North Carolina. It's going to take a big primetime game for him to make a big catch, for him to get his confidence back. I think that's what's going on with him mentally, is I think his confidence is shot after having a chance to play up against C.J. Henderson, who he won't see again into the NFL, and he didn't do anything. Every time C.J. Henderson was on him, he didn't even catch the ball.
Okay, well, I hate to say this, and I don't know how does this help us, but I know where it's not going to help him. That means right now he's showing his resume to be, this is how he'll check out to the NFL right now. He has to get mentally ready for the big stage, which most wide receivers in the country, whoever they see, they try to destroy. I don't care if they're seeing Bethune-Cookman to whatever team they play, they try to destroy. So if that's his makeup, if that's the way he's built, he's not doing himself any favors. But saying we're just going over what you're saying. If that's what's how he's made, that's not good. And let's be honest, guys. He's really a slot guy that could burn you over the top.
Right.
And most of the guys in the country, and I keep going back to that because that's what I do. I watch a lot of college football. Most of the guys in the country are taller, faster. Well, I don't know about faster, but bigger, taller, rangier, that could do a lot of things. And if that's how he's going to be, so he should have shipped that off a long time ago. So basically what you're telling me, for his NFL status, his chance of being in the NFL, he's not mentally prepared to play in the next level then. That means he's not a first-line wide receiver. He's more like a third-line special team guy.
Was he ever a first-round wide receiver?
True.
But I'm just saying, people talk him up like it, trust me, like anybody else, I wanted him to come back.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I wanted him to touch the ball as much time as possible in the game. But as far as being that next level wide receiver, I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. And these are the things that we actually need to talk about a lot more. We like Osborne, but he's gone. He is gone. And he's going to catch reliable routes. He's going to catch quick hitters. And he's going to catch the ball because that's what he works on, and he can give us yards. But who is going to get the ball downfield and catch the ball downfield?
Mark Pope. I told y'all this since July. Mark Pope, to me, is the third best wide receiver on our roster.
Who's the first?
KJ Osborne. He is someone who has shown.
Who's the second?
Jeff Thomas is still the second most talented, if not the most talented wide receiver on our team. If we can get his confidence back, if we can get him the ball back, and I think that it may not just be him mentally, I think it's his trust in Jaren. Jaren getting him the ball deep downfield.
Well, okay, that's a good point, but let me make this point. I think this also falls on the offensive coordinator. If you guys remember the UNC game, they gave him a route to the end zone, and they wanted Jaren to hit him in the corner. That's unfair to Jeff Thomas. He's not that type of wide receiver.
Right.
That's an unfair. Matter of fact, you was asking him to do that against a guy that was pretty, might have been a little tad bigger than him. That's not the route you run for Jeff Thomas. You run that route for a high tower, or you run that route for your tight end, or you run that route for somebody that's going to be able to grip in the corner, go up high, meet the ball at the highest point, and come down with it. Also, Jeremiah Payton, nice snatch in that game. He reached out, he hand caught that ball. He didn't body catch that ball. He hand caught it. I want to make one more point. And also, when I've talked to you about this before, I'm super concerned linebackers. We have to be super concerned about our linebackers. I'm a hop off, man. I didn't want to go let the whole thing go with not mentioning about Jeff Thomas and the wide receiver and our linebackers. Whenever you guys want to talk about this tonight or tomorrow, we need to discuss all of that because we got to start figuring out who's going to be our frontline guys. But they made great adjustments putting Clark in the game. If they could do that, we can make adjustments all around. Hopefully, this is the homework, the test, everything that's involved, and then when Virginia come around and Virginia Tech come around, we start putting everything together. Appreciate you guys getting off.
No problem, man. Thank you, Jamaica. You all live with the host one in Miami Hurricanes Talk. Who is this?
What's up, Wholesome? This is Big Will.
Oh,
Will, how you doing?
Yeah,
Big Will.
Miami Talk doing tonight. I'm watching the show. A great show as always, bro.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
I got a comment, because I know y'all getting ready to close the show, and I don't want to keep you on long. Y'all was talking about gap assignment on the defensive line. If that's what they're doing, then we're going to have a bad season this year, because the Hurricanes that I know, we just lined up and we hit them in the mouth. We attacked, we dominated, and we did not care about gap assignment, because that's what the linebackers are for. They're the ones going to clean up the gaps.
Right.
That's their job. That's what Pinckney, that's what McLeod, and that's what Quarterman's supposed to do. Their job is to clean up the gaps. The defensive line job is to get after the quarterback. And if that's what they're teaching, we're going to have a long season, bro. We're going to have a long season.
I'm with you.
Because that's not Canes football. Canes football, we line up, we punch them in the mouth, we let them breathe, we let them know that we here to give it to you all night long. Snap did it, Kenny Holmes did it, Lane did it, all those UN greats that did in the past. They didn't do all no gap assignment. They lined up and they hit people in the mouth. If this is the kind of character that they're teaching these kids at the U, then we're going to have a long season. We are. And if that's the case, we might not make it 10-2, like you said. You might be, like you just been calling out some records. We might end up probably 5-8 and things like that. That is not Canes football. We need to get back to the old time way. And if Manny Diaz want to sell this facade of the new Miami, he need to go back to the old time way and start coaching. Don't compare yourself to Jimmy Johnson if you're not living up to the Jimmy Johnson standard.
Straight like that. That's what I'm talking about. You got to drop the mic on that one.
I'm going to let you go, bro. So, love the show. Miami Talk. Love y'all. I
Appreciate it.
Keep the track. Next time when it's I'll try to be there just to continue to comment and give my knowledge about my love for the Canes.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, bro.
All right, Big Will.
Thank you for calling.
All right, so phone lines are closed, guys. We're going to spend the last 10 minutes with closing remarks by both me and Paul. And to prepare you all for tomorrow going into the defensive conversation.
Yes, sir.
Tonight was supposed to be offense, but at the same time, when we start talking Canes football, a lot of things get brought up. We could probably do special teams and defense tomorrow to give it a little bit more broad to speak about. But since this is your channel, I'll go first and then let you close it out, Paul.
Go ahead.
Like I said on my channel, go ahead and check out Miami Hurricanes versus Bethune-Cookman review. A lot of good things happened in this game. Mark Harley got his very first career touchdown. That could be good and bad. A guy that's been like a 2-year starter who hasn't scored, that could be kind of bad. But at the end of the day, he got his first career touchdown. Mark Pope showed you all what I had been trying to tell you, what Footballville had been trying to tell you all that time. God, Miami Martell. Lord Jesus. Anyway, you're actually talking about good athletes, not guys forced on the field. These guys have an opportunity to go out there and show what they can do. Of course, it was against Bethune-Cookman. And to me, it's a double-edged sword. If you do good against Bethune-Cookman, I'm going to say it's Bethune-Cookman. But if you go out there and I didn't even know you played, I'm going to say, what happened to you? We were playing Bethune-Cookman. And I will not apologize. And I think Paul has the same viewpoint on holding the Miami Hurricanes to a national championship standard. I understand we are not there yet. So I'll never be satisfied until we get a national championship. But being able to hold us to that standard means that every week we should play our best football better than the week before. And I'm seeing that. In all honesty, I'm seeing that. I've seen us play our worst game, Florida. I've seen us play our second worst game, North Carolina. And I've seen us play a horrific first quarter, which should be our last bad start against Bethune-Cookman. So hopefully, another big thing is holding somebody to a standard doesn't mean I'm holding you to the 1990s standard. That's not what I'm saying. I can't keep comparing our defensive tackles to Warren Sapp and Cortez Kennedy and guys like that. No, because the game evolves. But I want us to be the best. I want Shaq Quarterman to be the best Shaq Quarterman, and I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen it since 2017. I want John Garvin to be the best John Garvin. I haven't seen that since second half of last year. Or better yet, his 2 strip sacks versus VT and Notre Dame. So that's what I mean by holding people to a standard. So, that's kind of it for me. Second thing is there's no way on God's green earth Mike Harley is better than Jeff Thomas. So I saw a comment that said that, and I don't know if they're just trying to get me to go wild, but that would be wild. Go ahead, Paul, with your closing remarks, Paul.
This is where Coach Diaz makes his money. This is where the new Miami, the TNM hashtag comes into play. We have 9 more games as a team. Are we going to be like the old Miami and have winning streaks and losing streaks, finish 8-4, lose those close games, or we're going to finish out the season strong? I know we may not have the guys, but that doesn't mean that we can call a good football game. We can outcoach other teams schematically, physically, athletically. We have the best players on the football field every time in the ACC Coastal. Every single game the rest of the way, you cannot tell me that is a better football team. You cannot. Is this the new Miami? This is where Coach Diaz is going to make his money. Will he make the proper adjustments on the defensive side of the ball? Will he take over coaching, calling the plays on the defensive side of the ball? We will find out. This is where Coach Diaz is going to make his money. Al Golden failed to do this, and Mark Richt failed to do this. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he lives up to it. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's live show. We literally do this on the fly. And, man, I greatly appreciate you guys coming on and just talking Canes football, because I know for a lot of people it is tough to talk Canes football. And we greatly appreciate it, guys. It really is a family. Really appreciate it, man. It's always about this you. Wholesome one, you got anything else?
Oh, wait, we're still live?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were signing off.
No, I'm not signing off.
My bad. Okay, my bad. Usually that's what you say.
You're good,
and it's like, all right, I got to hurry to you before you hit, in broadcast. Honestly, if I'm just being honest with you guys, the biggest thing is when you hold someone to a standard, there's a connection between sadness and expectation. If I expect you to be a great football player and you go out there and be average, I'm going to be down about it because I expected you to be great. And that's my standard for you. And to me, I think if I'm at a Division I institution, especially the U, I should hold myself to an All-American standard. And I would want people around me to do the same thing. Maybe some of the players don't have that same mindset.
That's it. Hey,
and that's that.
We got Central Michigan next week. We're going live tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So going live on my channel tomorrow. We'll talk defense and special teams. Tonight was supposed to be offense, but we did enough offense. We talked really good.
We talked a lot. Yeah, we talked together.
Hey, at the end of the day, I want a spread. Doesn't look like we're going to get a spread. It looks like we're going to be the 49ers from 1972, but hey, hopefully it's successful. Jaron is doing good though. I just wanted start attacking teams down the field.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining the show. And look out for us tomorrow. Go Canes.